Hello there. How's everybody doing? Happy, I was going to say Monday, but it's not Monday, it's Tuesday. I'm just inviting our guests right now. Give me just a second. Hope you all are doing well. If you're in Santa Cruz, that was easy.
Yay!
So fun. It's so good to see you. I have to just apologize. My hair woke up with its own personality today. So I've been like,
You look great. You look
I've just been
fabulous.
trying to figure it out, but I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna. Of course, I have showings later, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with this. I'm just put a baseball cap on or something. But it's so good to see you.
Good to see you too.
I know it's kind of like we're on a little coffee date, and except for I don't have a. I was saying it's kind of like we're on a coffee date, except for I don't have a nice latte to drink. But it's like we're just hanging out. So, are you able to hear me? Okay. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you.
Okay, cool. Let me turn it up just a little bit. I normally have headphones in, but I forgot those. So I'm going to go ahead. I know I said we're starting at 12. I don't know if anyone's going to hop on live, but that's in just a minute. But I will start my introduction, and then we'll just dive right in. I know your time is valuable, so we'll get started.
Sounds good.
All right. This is Christy Whiting, Realtor in Santa Cruz County. Together with my dad, Michael Whiting, we are selling Santa Cruz. So if you've lived in Santa Cruz for any length of time or you're here today, you know that this town is gorgeous and it speaks for itself. It doesn't need anyone to sell it. We have a beautiful coastline. The redwoods are amazing. We have the historic Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. There's something truly special about this place. But what makes Santa Cruz even more special are the people that make up this community. So at Selling Santa Cruz, we really want to showcase small businesses, leaders, educators, medical practitioners, all the things that make this place where we want to call home. So today I have a very special guest, Dana Ramsey, who's a women's healthcare clinician and nurse midwife. And she's from Nurture Women's Health and Fertility. So Dana, welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. This is so much fun.
This is fun. And it's a fun, very relaxed way to just talk about what you're doing and help people understand. Because I think I know that in Santa Cruz County, a lot of people have heard about you and kind of know like, oh, she started something new. But this is a fun opportunity for you to talk about what really goes on at Nurture Women's Health and Fertility. So maybe you could tell us a little bit about what you guys offer, and then we'll get into some questions so people have a chance to get to know you.
Sounds great. Great. So I'm a Santa Cruz native myself. So grew up right here in SoCal and opened Nurture actually 2 years ago now, right before the pandemic hit. And first opened in Capitola, but this year have expanded into SoCal into a much bigger office with some other amazing female practitioners. And at Nurture, we do full full GYN care, not OB. That's one thing that I've let go to the wayside for now, but spent the last 10 years delivering babies here in Santa Cruz, both at Sutter and Dominican, and then decided to part ways with corporate medicine just at the end of 2019, really focusing on hormonal health for women. It was a gap in care that I noticed after being a practitioner in this town for so many years, that women going through hormonal challenges, not only in just perimenopause and menopausal years, but also women who were really challenged with PCOS and PMDD, had a hard time getting really good comprehensive hormonal care. And then there's also a big gap in fertility care here in Santa Cruz. And so my past work over in Los Gatos gave me a lot of experience with fertility care, because that's not something you usually get a lot of training with in just general either medicine or in nursing school. And so I was able to bring that to Nurture, which has been really fulfilling to be able to offer that locally, because most everybody has had to drive the hill in order to get even the basic care for fertility care. So between hormonal challenges and fertility care, we also do well women exams. So it's been challenging to get in to see your regular practitioner, to just have your normal well woman exam. And so we've been offering those, and that's been really rewarding as well.
That's great. It's so funny because I've shared a couple times that I go to see you, and I know that you're known as a midwife in fertility care. So I always get nervous because I'm done. Like that ship has sailed. I'm done with the baby land.
Yeah.
But the fact that you offer so much more care. And the one thing I really love too, and you can talk more about this maybe when you talk about the vision of how you guys got started, but that you guys really combine Western medicine with evidence-based complementary therapies to really help treat and also prevent. Like, and I think a lot of people are trained to think like I see, you know, a medical provider when I'm sick.
Yeah.
And the thing that I really love about you is like, let's keep you healthy and let's truly understand how to prevent illness, and let's help you feel your best. And you guys do a lot of care around that. So I really love that. I wanted to take a quick second too to say how I met you and what I love about you, because I think that, you know, taking the step and going to someone in private practice can be a big step for people. And one of the reasons I wanted to have you on is so people could just get to know you a little bit, because I think people that know you love you, and you become an instant ally for people and an instant friend. And I don't know if you remember, but when I switched to your previous practice, I had just had a terrible late-term pregnancy loss. And I knew I needed to have a new provider and I needed to get medical care because I had to switch to new insurance, another story.
Right.
But I called your office and I was actually scheduled to see somebody else. And I told them my situation and what had just happened. And they were like, oh, you need to see Dana. And I'm like, what? Who? You know, and they're like, you need to see Dana. And I just was like, okay. And I remember showing up to that appointment, and within minutes, I just felt so disarmed and so heard and so loved, you know. And you don't get that often in typical Western medicine practices. And I just felt like all of a sudden I had, you know, a friend and someone who was willing to try to understand what was going on, but also was willing to stand by me. My sister just said, oh, now I'm crying.
I know, you're almost making me cry.
I know.
Actually.
But so that was kind of what connected us from the get-go. And so I know I've watched you deliver, I think, one or two of my sister's kids. And so I think that you really have, you know, there's a beautiful, like, there's humanity in your practice, and there's friendship, and you just have a beautiful way of treating people. And so anybody who knows that they want to get, you know, this type of care, Dana is the gal to see in this county.
That is the biggest compliment. And I just thank you for sharing that story. And I remember the day we met. I remember that day. And it just warms my heart, because I really want to practice wholehearted women's health care, and I want to bring my whole self to the practice, you know. And that's not always embraced in medicine, to really let your guard down and share stories and you know, bridge that gap. And I've just decided in my career that that's the way that I practice, and it just warms my heart that you've noticed that difference, because it's the way that just feels most authentic to me to provide women's health care. So.
Well, it shows. It really does show. And I think anyone that I've talked to that sees you will agree and says the same thing. So so that's what, if anyone's considering, you know, private practice, it's worth, you know, Dana is worth the risk and worth seeking out. So let's talk really quickly. The questions I ask everybody is highlights, lowlights, and then something you're looking forward to. Before we dive into that, is there anything else about your practice that you want to share with us?
You know, I mean, I think you mentioned sort of that integrative approach, which is definitely unique to the practice at Nurture. I practice root cause medicine, which is a functional medicine approach, which not only blends, you know, Western medicine modalities and trainings. I went to Yale University and got my master's there, but I also did additional functional medicine and integrative medicine training, and combine those to really individualize care. And I think that's, you know, having 15, 16 years of experience as a practitioner, and being able to really individualize care for women who are having hormonal challenges or fertility challenges is really key. Like there's just not a cookie cutter approach to this type of care. And so I think that's really a part of nurture that I think can get lost sometimes, because it just sounds like a GYN private practice that does fertility, but we also just take such a holistic approach to whatever challenges patients are presenting with.
And I love that you bring that up, because I think that it is about the big picture. It's about the holistic approach, and it's not about abandoning Western medicine. For me personally, I would not be comfortable with that. I've got several health issues that need to be treated, but then I'm also supporting my health with a lot of the things that you've recommended. And so I think that's great. And also you give a lot of recommendations of like things at home that we can do, like foods that we can eat, and cleaning up our, we're not using plastic and not using glass Tupperware, and cleaning up our beauty products and all that stuff. So
all that important stuff, all that stuff that's basically free, that just takes a little extra effort up front.
Well, I appreciate the whole approach. Okay, let's talk about really quickly, highlight for your business this year, or for your practice.
Yeah, this is really easy because this year I expanded, joined forces with Beth Dorsey, and we have a joint office now that's big and beautiful and bright, and just brings me and patients so much joy to be in every day. So, just partnering with another strong, amazing, brilliant female in Beth Dorsey has been really the highlight. And what we put together to build my practice out, and then her practice, Points of Wellness, has been amazing. We have a wonderful chiropractor, Dr. Z, who works in the office as well. We have massage therapy. And so it's really, that's like an easy no-brainer. That's been the highlight. Every day I walk in there and I'm just thrilled to be doing the work I do, and partnering with other women who have the same vision is such a gift, not only to myself, but to the people who work in the office and to the patients. I think it's really noticeable.
Yeah. So 2 things to clarify. Beth Dorsey is acupuncture.
She's an acupuncturist.
Okay, just so everyone knows.
Yeah.
So acupuncture you partner with, and then your office is stunning. Who designed that for you? Did you decorate?
Yeah. Not nearly as well as my office looks. So that was really a meld of the minds on our office, and who really was the leader in helping us pick out all of the pieces. Although Beth and I really did have to approve of every piece that went on the wall, or
absolutely
every pillow that went on the couch. But Amy Ramsey, my cousin-in-law, who's like a wonderful friend of mine, she is a budding decorator and house stager, and she just worked a miracle in a space and came up with such great ideas for opening the space, making it lighter and brighter, and then just picking pieces that made it pop. So
that's awesome. She's great. I can't think of her Instagram handle right now, so
I can't either. I'm terrible at that.
Okay, I'll tag it or send people a message if they're looking for a designer. Okay, what was your biggest challenge, or we call it low light?
Yeah, this year I would say, running a business, so going from a practitioner to a business owner has its challenges. And I would say the hardest part is like all of the little details. And so like just getting every single little, like every credit card on every account so the phones don't turn off, getting the Wi-Fi to work, it's more of like all the little details.
Yeah.
And thankfully, I have a wonderful assistant who just keeps the phones on, keeps my patients, showing at the door. And Roxy saves the day many times. So I would say it's just the little pieces of business that maybe haven't gone as planned. There hasn't been a super low light, because this year for Nurture has been really exciting.
That's great. And because the first year you said was during the pandemic, so that probably looked very different.
Yeah, it looked very different. And I had 3 kiddos at home that I was trying to teach the alphabet to. And so it looked a lot different.
Yep. Yeah. And I'm like, and we won't spend any time talking about that. We're like all ready to move on. Okay, what's something that you're looking forward to this next year, 2022? I can't believe we're almost there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think like I'm very growth minded. And so I see the practice growing. I think that with growth can also come some growing pains. And so I'm really careful about how fast it grows. And I really want to keep it like that very small feeling, individualized feeling. And so just, I think figuring out, if there's another practitioner that's going to come into the practice, if it's going to be a complementary practitioner or somebody who does something similar to me. I think, how 2022 is going to grow nurture is kind of what I'm looking forward to. And that's going to take some real big thought, because the next move, it moves from really hustling, which you probably understand, to more like growth and really thoughtful growth, but also, being very pointed with where we want to go as a practice.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Well,
and intentional. That's the word. Intentional growth.
That's your word of the year.
Yeah.
All right. And then for somebody who may be, well, I think there's probably a lot of people in the position where they didn't even realize this type of care existed. So there's that woman, and then there's the woman who's been considering looking at something different outside of, typical Western medicine. What would you say to them? Because I normally ask, how can this community support your business? And it really is, I would imagine, spreading the word. Or maybe I'm wrong, and getting new patients, but
yeah. No, I think spreading the word is great. I think, women have a really great way of supporting each other and hearing each other and talking to each other. And just before this call, I was on a call with somebody I hadn't talked to in a long time, and she goes, it just feels good to talk. And I think that we share a lot of our struggles with others and other women that we feel really comfortable with. And, when those struggles come up, if you think that our practice might be a fit, even if it's like a little, you think, oh, there's just a small chance she might be able to help, like just mention our practice, because there's so much that we can help with. And even if it's not that, it's not that we will necessarily hold you and only you, there's a whole circle of care that that we as a practice can kind of envelop you in to give you the kind of wellness and well-being that you deserve. So I think not only just sharing the news that this practice exists, which is super helpful. And I think I think trying something new is scary sometimes. And that's why starting this practice and kind of taking the holistic approach, because I've been in the community for a long time and have a background in pretty solid Western medicine, I decided that, I'm going to take this to the integrative side. I'm going to incorporate functional medicine, some of the things that aren't as talked about, but it's been really well received because people know my background. They know that what I've been part of in the past, and I'm very evidence-based. So I was really happy that you said that, because everything that we offer, that we talk about, is all evidence-based. Like there's science behind it. It's not just, oh, I had one patient that this worked for. This is really evidence-based, super solid functional medicine that we're practicing. So that's what I would say is, don't be afraid to try something new and spread the word.
Yeah, and you can find Dana at Nurture Santa Cruz on Instagram. And what's your website?
www.nurturesantacruz.com.
nurturesantacruz.com. Great. All right. Well, thank you, Dana, so much for taking the time. I love this. I wish we could talk forever, but we'll do that another time off camera. So again, if there's anyone else that you guys can think of that you think I should interview in the Santa Cruz area so we can showcase them on this platform, tag them below or reach out through a direct message. As always, if you have any real estate needs, we are here to help with that at Selling Santa Cruz on Instagram and Facebook, and sellingsantacruz.com. All right, you guys, thank you so much. Bye, Gina.
Bye. Thank you.
You're welcome.